Do you know the month of July could bring destruction to an entire province? Not through conflict, but through relentless rain. In 2025, China is witnessing one of its most severe climate emergencies in decades. From Sichuan's mountains to Gansu's plateaus, the skies have unleashed record-breaking rainfall levels of 500 millimeters, levels not seen in over 60 years. Bridges have collapsed, trains halted, and in Shenzhou, a 5-story building vanished into a swollen river. The rains haven't stopped, and neither has the damage. This isn't just weather, it's a warning. In today's report, we uncover the hidden cracks in infrastructure, leadership, and the urgent truth of climate change. In the final week of July 2025, Baoding, a city just a few hours' drive from Beijing, was hit by what meteorologists now call a year's worth of rain in a single day. This industrial hub in northern China is no stranger to heavy weather. But what happened between Thursday and Friday wasn't just a downpour. It was a test of the city's foundations, its emergency response systems, and the lives of over 19,453 residents who suddenly found their homes underwater. In just 24 hours, the western region of Baoding, specifically the area of Yi, recorded 448.7 millimeters of rainfall, about 17.7 inches. For perspective, that's nearly as much as the city's entire annual average of just over 500 millimeters. The skies had released what nature typically spreads out over 12 months. In a single night, flash floods followed swiftly. Streets disappeared beneath murky water. Power lines failed in multiple villages. Bridges that connected communities cracked and fell. Roads became rivers. In some districts, access to hospitals, schools, and evacuation routes was severed in hours. And yet, amid this turmoil, the people of Baoding had no time to panic. They had to move. Over 19,000 people, spread across more than 6,171 households, were evacuated, according to official numbers released by the China Meteorological Administration. While no casualties or missing persons were reported at the time, the sheer scale of displacement made this one of the most serious urban flood responses of the year. And this isn't a one-off disaster. It's part of a larger, more troubling pattern. Meteorologists compared this storm to the one brought by a powerful typhoon in 2023 that submerged Beijing in the worst rainfall the city had experienced in over 140 years. The parallels are impossible to ignore. In both cases, cities were caught in vulnerable moments, and in both cases, old infrastructure met new climate extremes and failed. In Zhuozhou, a city under Baoding's jurisdiction that had already suffered devastating floods in 2023, roads and bridges were once again rendered unusable. By Friday morning, over 190 millimeters of rain had drenched the area, cutting off access and sending residents into another round of fear, recovery, and uncertainty. Even as Baoding and surrounding districts scrambled to respond, weather forecasters had a grim warning: the rain wasn't finished. CCTV, China's state broadcaster, reported that an additional 50 millimeters of rain was expected to fall within a 6-hour window, just enough to tip the fragile ground toward more landslides, urban runoff, and infrastructure collapse. Beijing, a sprawling capital about 160 kilometers away, also came under threat. Flash flood alerts were issued across 4 of its 16 districts by Friday night. The northern and western mountainous areas of the capital were placed on high alert for debris flows and secondary disasters triggered by excess water soaking unstable hillsides. In response, Hebei province, where Baoding is located, escalated its emergency preparedness. National authorities also stepped in. On Friday, the central government dispatched 23,000 relief items, including emergency kits and blankets, to regions in Hebei and the northwestern province of Shaanxi, which had also been hit hard by torrential rains. These weren't precautionary measures, they were lifelines. For many displaced families, an emergency kit is not just a bag of supplies. It's the only thing standing between safety and suffering. For aging residents, the blankets offered warmth not just against cold, but against fear. What's alarming is that this isn't an isolated event. Hebei province has been experiencing above average rainfall for 5 consecutive years. In 2024, the province recorded 640.3 millimeters of rain, over 26% higher than its decades-long average. Last summer alone, Baoding and nearby cities like Zhangjiakou, Langfang, Xiong'an, and Changzhou saw 40% more rain than usual. Some parts of Baoding received 80% more. This is not random weather. This is a climate pattern in motion. Scientists and meteorologists are increasingly linking these shifts, especially the rising precipitation in traditionally drier northern China, to global warming. As the East Asian monsoon grows more erratic and forceful, the land simply cannot absorb or redirect the volume of water it once could. And the consequences extend beyond flooded streets and broken bridges. These storms pose a serious threat to China's $2.8 trillion agricultural sector. Floodwaters are not just washing away crops and soil, they're washing away entire harvests. Fields are drowning, livestock is at risk, transportation to markets is disrupted, leaving perishable goods stranded. The damage doesn't end with the rain, it lingers in the months to come, affecting food security, rural livelihoods, and national economic stability. In Inner Mongolia, railway services were disrupted as rains continued to lash high-risk areas. Authorities suspended several passenger trains from Friday to Tuesday, fearing track damage, landslides, and unsafe transit conditions. For travelers, this is an inconvenience. For rural workers and business owners, it's economic disruption at a critical time. And yet, through all this, people are adapting, responding, and holding on. Footage shared by the China Meteorological Administration shows 2 policemen in neon rain jackets wading through a flooded street, water lapping at their boots, rain pouring down without pause. There are no dramatic rescues in this clip, no heroic speeches, just quiet endurance, just duty in motion. Across flood-prone regions, countless similar acts are unfolding. Emergency responders ferrying the elderly on inflatable rafts, volunteers distributing warm meals and shelters, and local officials coordinating evacuations before disaster strikes. These aren't exceptions. They are daily decisions made under pressure in the face of rising uncertainty. But while the resilience of individuals is inspiring, it's not enough. What's being tested now is more than just personal courage. It's the readiness of our systems, the durability of our cities, the foresight of our planners, and the willingness of leadership to recognize that climate patterns have changed, and so must we. No province can prepare for the future by using the tools of the past. The storms of July are revealing the true cost of delayed adaptation. They are not only disrupting life in Baoding and Beijing, they are warning signals for cities across the globe that still think climate change is a future concern. This is no longer about isolated events or rare occurrences. This is the new frequency. And unless strategies shift at the national and local levels, the people who suffer will always be the same. The rural farmers, the working poor, the children displaced overnight. That's where today's story ends, but the questions it raises won't fade with the floodwaters. If one night of rainfall can shut down a city and uproot thousands, what happens when these storms become monthly or weekly events? What will it take for governments to design cities not just for the average weather, but for the extremes that are now common? And more importantly, when the warning signs are this clear, will we act in time or keep waiting for the next disaster? If this report gave you insight into something the headlines overlook, don't scroll past. Subscribe for more in-depth stories that connect the dots between disaster and decision. Hit like to help more people see what's unfolding, and tell us what you think, because your voice might be part of the solution we're all waiting for. Stay aware, stay connected, and stay hopeful, even when the rain keeps falling.